Welcome to Commander Central, episode 83, and today we have a special show with some secret tech from both War of the Spark and Modern Horizons. I'm Dana.
I'm Max.
And I'm Chris.
And we'll get to that all later, but first, I guess this isn't the first show because 2 weeks ago we had Chris here, but we had a couple deck techs without Chris, so it seems like Chris hasn't been here for a while.
Hi, I'm the new guy.
Welcome back, Chris.
Thank you.
Yeah, I was saying it's weird. I have been recording in the Dungeon of Doom by myself for the past few shows.
Because I've been recording remotely with you when it's only the two of us.
Yeah.
This is how weird it is, okay? And I'm going to explain this in our Wisconsin weather pattern. The last time I was here to record, I couldn't see over the snowbanks walking to your house.
And now there are no snowbanks.
And now it's all grass and stuff.
Yeah, mine's actually finally down at my house. I still have a lake of water in front of my garage, but my garage has mostly now been drained. And I started the process of cleaning it out actually today as well. I got a dumpster brought in, a large dumpster.
Oh, boy.
And it's 3/4 filled already. Because so much stuff in there is wet. Like I have a pretty big corner desk that got wet, and I had to tear it apart. So I bust that up with an axe and threw pieces in there, and I mean just junk like that like has just been ruined. There's a couple boxes of old. Actually, there's a box of old VHS tapes from my wife's school. I don't know why she had them, but I'm like, I'm not. She's like, well, are some of those? I'm like, no, they're going in the dumpster. I'm not holding VHS tapes from your school.
Do you have anything to play them on at your house?
They probably have. I'm sure they have a VCR at their school, but I'm like, those little kids are going to be fine if they don't see an old episode of Paddington Bear or something.
This is how old I am. I still have a VCR.
Do you really?
Yes, I do. It is packed up with all my VHSs. Just in case someday down the future, like if I have grandkids or something, be like, you want to see back in my day?
You had to rewind the movie.
Bring out the old tech. At this point, DVDs are old tech.
Yeah.
I mean, it's easy to make jokes about, but because I have boxes of DVDs out there too. I haven't even attempted to go through those yet.
Like,
but
everyone just buys their stuff on like iTunes or stuff like that. No, they don't even like buy hard copies rarely. I do have very, very select movies.
Well, I've been watching like old movies I liked as a kid with my son that are not kids movies. So like we watched Groundhog Day last weekend.
Classic.
Yeah, and it's Bill Murray, like going to introduce him to Bill Murray stuff. And I have Groundhog Day in one of those boxes in my garage, and I guess I could have gone and rifled through them, but it was like $1.99 to rent on Amazon, and I'm like, I could spend 45 minutes slogging through the water in that flooded garage to find it, or I could just rent it for 48 hours on Amazon. So I just did that.
Yep. It's so nice. Your payment information's there. It's done. Like,
I will probably regret not having that $1.99 at some point when there's a magic card I need, but
no, you won't.
I won't. No,
You'll just be like, I'll take two.
Yeah. Right. I'll still just buy it. I'll just skip lunch or something like that. But he liked Groundhog Day. He thought it was hilarious. So
It is.
we're off to a good start in his movie watching career at the very least.
Has he seen episodes 1 through 3 of Star Wars yet?
He is not. He's aware they
Good.
existed. For those that don't know, this popped up in the podcast a while ago. For a while, he was unaware the Star Wars prequels existed. He thought it was just Empire, Star Wars, and Return of the Jedi. And then we went and watched the new ones, but he was not aware of like Phantom Menace or any of those movies. And he knows they exist, but he hasn't asked to watch them. So I've not mentioned it.
His new house?
Yeah.
I don't think either of you two have been in my new house, actually.
I know where it is. I haven't been to
I
it
know
yet.
basically where it is too. I don't know. There might just be a present in your mailbox one day for him.
I got the full set on Blu-ray.
I was gonna say, so do I.
Dear Declan.
So I was going to have him on the cast at one point. Well, okay, I might as well mention this now. We've been talking about changing the intro music to the show.
Yes.
It's kind of a sped up version anyway, and I think for episode 100, that's when we'll switch over to to the new music we've got. I think I'm going to have my son pick the music out because he listens to like
Everything.
EDM kind of stuff like that, electronic music. So I'm going to have him pick out something to use for us, and I might get him to record a little snippet for that show for us, introducing the new song. So he will get to have his appearance on the show too, because he's actually asked a few times if he could do something on the podcast. But he doesn't want to do anything big. He wants to do 3 or 4 seconds of something, and then that's it.
Well, this is how weird of a nerd I am. Yet again, as you've explained, I only listen to hip hop and country. Those are my two, country and hip hop.
But that makes sense for you, the hunter and fisherman
Right.
and magic player and D&D player. That actually makes sense given how strange your tastes tend to be for things like that.
Yeah, I'm a weird person.
So let's talk about a few games we played this week. We like to always do that.
Yeah.
Chris was doing D&D stuff. this week.
Yep, because we were starting a new campaign. We finished off the first segment of one of ours, and a guy wanted to give our DM a break, so we're switching DMs and letting the DM play this time for a little while.
Same characters or like new characters for it?
New characters.
Okay.
The world your new campaign is in sounds really interesting. So
It does.
What are you guys playing in?
It's going to be in the Greyhawk world.
Oh, nice.
And we're actually in the middle of a civil war.
Oh, cool. Well, I gave the. Is Nate your DM, or is he DMing, or somebody else?
Not
DMing?
this time, but
Okay.
he's usually our DM.
So he's usually your DM, and I found years ago, I don't remember why I downloaded them, but like somebody has scanned all the old the like pre-made modules you could do for all the old D&D stuff from like the 80s, 90s, the ones you could buy. Somebody had scanned them, made them into PDFs, and I downloaded it at some point and had it on my computer. So I put them all in a drive for Nate and gave it to him. I think there's a giant like thing of Greyhawk ones in there too, if somebody wanted to use those.
Because you can just take that kind of stuff and just like generally put it into any campaign.
Yeah, right. Cool. Well, that should be interesting. What world were you guys playing in before that?
Faerun.
Okay.
Which is the world of like your Dragonlance and all that kind of stuff.
Sure. Okay. Yeah, because at this point there's so many different. Because have you done the Ravnica AD&D one at all?
Not yet.
I'm surprised you guys didn't jump into that. Is that the
not
plan
yet.
at some point?
Probably.
Okay, that'll be cool. So actual Magic games, Max, you played a couple.
I played 3.
We didn't play it all, actually.
I watched Max like bomb a game hard.
Yeah, he did.
Well, I got there late and you're already in a game. So was that the one he bombed?
Yes.
What
Was it?
happened?
That was my Brago game. I misplayed. I had the game down to like 2 players. I held on my turn, just kind of passed my turn. The player to my left took his turn. At the end of his turn, I Sphinx's revved for like 9, which was solid.
Sure.
But then the third player ended up just crushing me with combat damage because he surprised me with a Dictate a Heliod.
Yep.
Okay.
And I screwed up. I played a Stonecloaker to exile some stuff out of his graveyard and throw another blocker down where I also had Rift in hand, and I should have just held the mana to Rift and then made the game last another
my
4
honest
turns.
opinion would have been if you would have left all your mana open, he would have never attacked you.
Probably.
And at the end of his turn, you snap off the Sphinx's Rev, go to untap, play all the mana rocks that you drew, because you drew like 10 of them.
I did.
And then attack with Brago and just untap everything. And
Yeah. But yeah, screwed that game up, but I ended up winning a Dramoka game later in the night.
Nice.
I know, she's a boss, isn't she?
She is a boss.
I had a couple good games, though. The last one, I won with my Jeru deck, and I killed everybody.
I got to watch the end of that game.
I killed everybody with commander damage.
With Jeru. I don't
Jeru.
understand how that happens.
Well, Dr. Mike was at like 5 million health, too, at the end of that
right.
game.
That was the only way I was going to be able to win the game, because he was playing a Loro.
Oh.
But I had an Elspeth emblem out, and I was like double striking Jeru with Ajani, so because he had flying on top of it, and I had like Cage Sun out and Gauntlet out, so he was getting +2/+2 from that, and I just had enough things in play. But I had enough. I had between Chain Veil and I had a couple proliferate things.
Throwing
and
Gath.
Throwing Gath. I had a Johnny that puts counters and stuff. I was able to play Ugin and ult him the turn I played him.
And he lived.
And he lived. He didn't die either, right? That wasn't even like I got him to 10 and rolled him down. I got him down and he lived still at 1.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, the deck just got out of control. That doesn't happen often with that deck, but it was out of control at that point in time. And then I was making multiple Gerards because I had Helm of the Host at one, because I played Thalia's Lands. I played Thalia's Lancers to go get a legendary permanent or just a legendary spell, and I went and got Helm of the Host and put it on Jeru. So I had like 3 Jerus out at that point. So my guys basically were, you needed to hit somebody with 4 damage just to do 1 to a Planeswalker.
Jeez.
So then I wrapped it up pretty quickly at that point.
I told Dana, because he searched for Ugin, I'm like, you should just go for Karn and start the game over.
Right.
I was like, instead of exiling cards out of Dr. Mike's hand, you should start exiling them out of your hand. It's like, oh yeah, I'll start the game with an Elspeth Sun's champion on the field. And
Yeah, that would have been. Does the emblem carry over? I think so, because you're just restarting the game, right? So it's the same game.
I don't think it's the same game. I think it's literally you
start
start
a
a new
sub
game.
game.
Is it a sub game? Okay, so it's like Shahrazad.
Because you go back up to 20 life and all
Okay.
that stuff, yeah.
So any emblems you had would go away with the. All right.
But still, an Elspeth on turn 1,
Right. Yeah. Right.
and you're just like, oh, hey, spit out 3 dudes. On my
Yep.
turn 2, I attack you for 3. You're playing Commander. Aggro is not a thing, apparently. So
Right. Yeah. Particularly at that point in the game when. Yeah. So that was pretty fun.
That's crazy.
So, do we have any new Patreons this week we want to say hi to?
We do have a bunch of new patrons this week, so thank you to everybody who has continued to support us or has recently joined to support us. We want to say thank you to Michael Phipps, Jeff Say, Joseph Hoffman, and Cable Beck.
Thank you all very much for helping us keep the lights on here in the Dungeon of Doom.
Yes, and buying me pants for video.
Yeah, yes, indeed.
I'm so happy that they were easy names for you.
Last week I had a few tough ones.
I saw them. You posted them in Slack, and I'm like, oh, he's going to butcher them.
Yeah, that was not fun.
Everyone's usually very forgiving of you messing up their names, so that's
Yep.
good.
Some people look forward to it too.
Yes, right. Like, oh, this is going to be good.
During the one pre-release, I was working the store, and Mick, one of our listeners,
Yep.
he has a really hard last name to pronounce, and I pronounced it. And he's like, nope, that's wrong, try again. I'm like, nope, we're not trying again.
That's what your new name is.
Yeah, because I had to holler in front of
Good
everybody,
luck.
like, what your pairings were
Oh,
and
sure.
everything. And he's like, nope, try again. I'm like, no, we're not.
There's been at least 2 different times at pre-release or events where like someone that I call it the pairing or something, and someone's like, Dana, is she here? Like my opponent. And I'm like, no, man, that's me. oh, okay. And if you also want to support us, you can do that by going to Flipside Gaming.
Yeah, head over to flipsidegaming.com and use promo code CMDR in all caps. Get 10% off all orders, $10 or more. They are pre-ordering War of the Spark and Modern Horizons already, so our code works on that. Gets your boxes cheap, and they come really quick.
Yeah, they do.
I ordered my UMA box from them, and it was here the Monday after the set came out. So
Nice.
they shipped it right over the weekend. I had it Monday afternoon.
So speaking of War of the Spark, I read something, and someone posted, I do believe it was in our Slack, about
Wait,
conversation.
you went in our Slack?
Oh, I go on Slack all the time. I may not say anything half the time, but no, they were talking about how there will be no flipping
No-
walkers.
So apparently my whole theory is incorrect. There's no flip cards, he said,
Yep.
in War of the Spark. So
Wait.
assuming Mario's telling the truth, and I will assume he is, that means my entire theory is shot out the window.
My theory is, I will go with your theory about one ability or whatever, but I think they just die after you use the ability.
Could be. That could be.
It's like a -1 or whatever, or -X,
Yep.
and they have X loyalty, and it
Particularly
just
if
kills
it's
them.
particularly if it's a planeswalker who's like supposed to die in the storyline. I guess that might make sense.
Because I do believe the story is just Nicol Ball's just taking everyone's sparks, isn't he?
I believe so. That's what he has Immortal Sun for. And we'll talk about some more of this later on when we get to our little super secret bit of tech we want to talk about, which is basically what the show's going to be about. But we'll deal with that later.
Right.
Okay.
If you want to find us on social media, how would you do that?
Well, as Max said, you can become Patreon and find us on Slack,
You
which
certainly
I'm
can.
never in. You can find us on Twitter at CMDR Central. I don't usually reply on Twitter neither.
Max and I usually take care of that.
Dana handles Twitter. I handle
anything.
Facebook, pretty much.
Yeah.
You can find us on the Facebook, as Max just said, searching CMDR Central. You can find us on YouTube, where we post a lot of our content. Comment, like, whatever you do on YouTube. Subscribe, is that what you do on YouTube?
Subscribe on YouTube.
like,
Okay,
yep.
yes, indeed.
Subscribe on YouTube. And you can find us online at cmdrcentral.com.
Oh, yeah.
So before we get to this special War of the Spark Modern Horizons tech, Max, I saw you posting today on Slack, speaking of it, about game announcement you're all excited for.
Borderlands 3 finally got announced today.
How long have you been waiting for that?
10 years?
And but aren't they also redoing the graphics stuff for?
Yes, so they're remastered the first game and bringing that to the current gen consoles, PS4, Xbox One, PC.
And that's soon, isn't that one's coming
Wednesday.
out? Oh, nice.
Along with that, they're upgrading the graphics for the Handsome Collection, which is essentially the second game and like a pre-sequel to 4K.
Nice.
So I'm really looking forward to that, and it'll tide me over till the third one comes out.
Is there a release date set for it yet?
I think we find that out on the 3rd.
Okay.
Surprisingly enough, though, I got trolled by one of our Slack members.
Nice.
So Nick over at MTG Lexicon supports
Yep.
us. He's in our Slack. And yesterday they previewed like a teaser trailer online. He's like, "Did you like it?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm pumped. Can't wait for the show tomorrow." And so he messaged me today, and he's like, "So are you watching the stream?" I'm like, "Yeah." And I thought he was talking to me as if he couldn't watch it, so I'm starting to describe it. And he goes, No. I'm working on it." I'm like, "What do you mean?" He goes, "I work for 2K. I'm making that game." And I'm like, wait. So yesterday, he's like, "I've been trolling you for like a day and a half." I'm like, "Oh, I love
Nice.
it."
Get some.
Well, if you haven't watched MTG Lexicon, their YouTube channel, they have YouTube. They also are on Twitch.
Yep, Twitch every Saturday night.
It's fantastic. Like if you like watching people play Commander, their setup is better than anybody's, including game nights, in terms of cameras and that kind of thing. I think they have like 8 or 10 cameras going. So there's a camera on the individual players. There's 4 cameras on each individual
board.
Each individual board in front of them. They have all the information. The commander's going as the game's happening, life total change. I mean, as far as like a setup for watching a commander game get played, there's nothing better out there. And they're fun guys, and they always have interesting decks being played, and there's guests on there pretty frequently. So absolutely check them out. They do a really nice job.
Oh, yeah.
So, any of you guys going to watch the PAX tournament this weekend?
So we're recording this on Thursday. I'm planning on it because my plan tomorrow is to get the last remaining. I'm taking a half day off work. So I'm going to spend the afternoon getting the last of my work, like physical house stuff I need to get done, like my garage. And have nothing. My goal is to have nothing on the schedule this weekend so I can spend like some Saturday watching what happens. I watched a little bit this morning.
Yeah,
I'm curious who's announcing it because Brian David Marshall is going to be playing.
yeah, he's done.
He's bumped first round.
Yep.
Did he?
Yep.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
lost to
And then, what's his name? Rich Hagen's not going to be there announcing neither, according to his Twitter.
Yeah, he was behind the scenes doing something,
Yep.
he said, but he
So
wasn't
I'm curious
actually.
who the announcers
So-
actually are going to be.
It's Paul Cheon.
Okay.
Some other lady who I don't remember her name, but I think she does a lot for like Geek and Sundry and some other big Twitch people.
Okay.
So she has experience doing commentation. Marshall Sutcliffe is doing some commentary. Brian Kibler is the desk reporter.
Really?
Yeah, they pulled out the stops. They pulled in a lot of good people for this. And Rich Hagen, Maria, all the normal Pro Tour people are great too, but I like the change up with this.
I like Rich Hagen's voice. It's just like soothing.
Yes, absolutely. It's like Valium. It just relaxes you, and plus he has interesting stuff to say. I'm a big fan of when he's in the mic at a tournament.
He'll be at London. He'll be doing commentary at London in a couple of weeks.
That makes sense.
It was fun to watch today. I watched the first. I watched one match. I think I don't even remember who it was, but it was fun to watch. It's fast paced.
It
I was
is very
scrolling my
fast.
Twitter and looking at everything, and I think Jerry Thompson, is he playing?
He's out as well.
Is he? Because him and Cedric Phillips were there, and they were out to eat, and some fan saw Jerry Thompson. He
I saw that on
comes up
Twitter.
and he's like, "Oh, can I get a picture with you?" And he's like, "Yeah, you want to get a picture of Cedric too?" And he's like, "Who's Cedric?"
Yeah.
And I was just like, "Oh!"
That was fantastic. I saw that on Twitter.
I love Cedric Phillips. I mean,
Yeah.
his podcast is
Great.
amazing.
He's great.
He's an amazing commentator. I like reading his articles and everything like that, and just all around naturally a nice guy. And I was just like, "How do you not know him?"
Exactly. And you know Jerry Thompson. Not that he's not well known too, but you don't know Cedric Phillips.
Right.
That's really strange.
I plan on watching it all day tomorrow because I took a full day off because I'm getting my washer hopefully fixed. So I got to be home for
I
that.
heard about that.
Yeah.
I'm glad to see your house didn't start on fire like we were talking about the other day.
Just a little bit of flooding.
Just flooding.
I haven't had that issue. Man, I feel lucky.
So I wonder at some point, because it's easier to watch the game be played on Arena like that. Do you think at some point they're going to start doing other tournaments this way?
I don't see Arena getting modern support. So
Right. First of all, that's a huge pain in the butt to switch over to importing all those cards from Modern.
I would be much more likable to watch a draft on Arena. Like if you got to see the featured drafter and how they pick the cards on Arena versus them passing cards like they typically do at those big tournaments.
Yeah, because you'll actually be able to see all the cards.
Right.
Yep.
Exactly.
Yeah. And like all the information is there. They have a bunch of cool add-ons on Twitch where you can just click the page and it shoots out their deck list and their bio. Like I really like the Arena play style that I got to watch today.
The thing I don't like about it, I actually have a guy who's on our D20 team who grinds Arena, and he got up to Mythic 50.
Okay.
So he's rank 50 out of everybody,
Yep.
from
Sure.
and he said by the time that he logged off that night and the time that he came back from work the next day and logged on, he was down to like rank 700.
Oof. Just because there's so many people grinding.
Because you have to just keep grinding. So in order
Sure.
to get those invites that they're doing right now, it's nearly impossible unless you're a full-time player.
Sure. Which you probably can't. Which you really can't be unless you are somebody who's already getting paid to do
Or
it.
if you get invited to the special tournaments and you end up winning or something like that.
Yeah, that makes sense. Are you still playing a lot of Arena?
No. If I do play Arena, I draft. That's all I do. It's so much more fun to draft. Mm-hmm. Plus, I'm in the limited mindset for Madison, which I'm going to crush. I'm going to crush. No, I'm probably going to get the worst pool in the world.
Is the whole team going down for that?
Yep. Well, everybody but Nate, I think, is gone.
Okay.
So,
Nate's not a big limited guy.
no, not really.
Because that's second weekend or first weekend in May.
Second weekend of May.
May 9th, 10th, and 11th,
So
something like that.
6 weeks out. Nice.
Which we will be there.
We will. All three of us will be there.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Do a little Where's Waldo?
Yeah. I will be hiding in plain sight.
That'll probably be the only Magic Fest that we're all three at this year. Oh no, we'll probably be all at Minneapolis as well, I would guess.
And I'm thinking if Minneapolis is going to be standard, unless the standard format's phenomenal, I think I'm just going to walk around and probably set up another contest and be like, see who can find me and sit down and play a game with me.
I am all for that.
Yep. I'll be carrying Modern and Commander on me, so whoever wants to play whatever, we'll play.
Nice.
Nice.
Well, I just found out that, not that we were unsure about some Vegas stuff, but Don Miner from EDH Rec is actually officially was able to confirm with his wife and family that it's okay for him to, he's planning on being in Vegas too, so we should have a pretty decent EDH Rec contingent there as well for Vegas, so that should be fun.
Nice.
That's not till August, so we have a ways till we get there.
It'll be here before we know it, though.
It will. Like we've talked about like we wanted to go back after we left last year, and that's the extra 2 months that were added on kind of hurt. But we're like, God, not at this point. That's only 4 away. That's not bad.
Right.
And it's just going to be hot and miserable down there.
And
Can't wait.
It's Las Vegas. It's always hot and miserable. I think June or August, it doesn't matter. That's just how it is.
It's going to be hot and miserable here anyway.
Right.
So
honestly, it wasn't like you would assume that it would be a difficult thing to get used to, but 105 degrees when it's desert heat versus here when it gets to 95 and it's muggy, I'll take that. That desert heat at 105 is way easier to deal with than it is here when it's humid. So it really honestly wasn't that bad to deal with.
Plus, we can drink margaritas by the pool.
Absolutely. Delicious. Well, you see, you're buying a house. That's nice.
Yes, I am.
Maybe
if
next
I can
year.
find one.
You're still. How's the hunt going?
Oh, it's a nightmare. Like every house that we like already has a bid in on it, and it's like,
Well, this is the time of year everybody's looking to, so it makes it a challenge.
It's crazy. And then I read an article that our local news station put up about how house sales have increased like tenfold or exponentially over just like this year itself.
Sure.
And I was like, what is going on? So honestly, I think I'm just going to keep looking, and then be like, oh, let's see how many foreclosures happen with all these people.
There you go.
Well, we should move on to the main topic and talk about our super secret tech here for both More of the Spark and for Horizons. But first, before we do that, now that the weather's actually nice, are you back out doing your Pokemon Go stuff again, Chris?
I actually just loaded it on my new phone
just put it
last
back up?
night. Yeah.
I hadn't played all winter really, or at least very much at all. I did the same thing last weekend, or I think 2 weekends ago. My son was like, "Oh, it's nice day. Let's go take a walk." So I put it back on my phone and updated it, and he put it on his phone. And we went walking around, and it was Saturday, and there just happened to be like a couple raids going on downtown. Yep. So we jumped in a couple of them, and it was for Rayquaza raids were happening.
I need a Rayquaza.
And he didn't get one, and I got one. And then like 3 days later, I've been walking to work, so like I fired it up in my walk to work. I might as well catch a few things and get some miles. And then an X-raid invite popped up. So I got home and checked his phone, and he got the same one because it must be based on where you played at. So we both got an X-raid for Deoxys. And then he was on spring break this week when the raid was going on. So I came home from work and got him, and we walked over to where the X-raid was. And and he didn't get the Deoxys again.
Oh,
he was pretty upset about that. And I got it, but he did not. So
It sounds like every time that my wife and I go out and do it with our son, she never catches it, and I always catch it.
Yeah, that's kind of how it was with him usually many times.
I know during the Zapdos event that was going around, so you had like 3 hours or whatever, hit as many of the gyms as possible, take them out and all that. We had a group that went, and the owner of the shop, Phil, went, and his fiance or girlfriend, don't ask me, complicated subject there, she couldn't go. But so he took her phone and gave it to my son.
Okay.
And my son caught every Zapdos on the first throw.
What?
Yes.
Nice.
All these shinies, he's like, oh, I caught mine. And I'm like, oh, stop, I can't catch mine.
Yeah, it's been nice walking to work every day because where I moved, I'm like about a mile and a half from my office. And I've been working from home, but I also found that like if I just work from home all day long, I get tired and it's just weird. So I've been getting up in the morning like I usually do, and I just walk into the office and I work in my office for like two hours or so.
Yep.
And then I walk back home and work the rest of the day in the afternoon because then I'm awake and I've gotten like my blood flowing and I've gotten some energy and I've gotten a few things done that are tougher to do remotely. So I take care of a few things, then I walk back home. But so that's been my plan lately. But I've been getting a lot of my Pokemon Go miles in doing that walk and a lot of podcasts I've been listening to. because I can between there and back I can pretty much take out one full podcast if I go at 1.5 speed.
Yeah.
So
I'm too addicted to Netflix to watch or listen to podcasts right now.
You're welcome.
Yeah,
what
thanks
have
a
you
lot.
been watching on Netflix?
The Originals.
I have not watched it. How is it?
It's pretty good. What else am I watching?
The Originals. Is that the Vampire Diaries offshoot?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm also watching The Vampire Diaries. Yeah, make fun of me all you want.
Hey, Supernatural's finally ending.
I know,
Yes, I saw that.
Supernatural.
I saw that.
I've seen every single episode. I watch it religiously, like new episodes when they come out.
Every week.
I'm totally the weirdest nerd you've ever
I'm
seen.
only about. I'm caught up through last season. And I watched I think the first 6 of this season, and I haven't caught up. I'll finish it out because this is 14, right? So next year will be season 15.
Next year is their last season.
So they can actually plan an ending then. And
Yep.
All right.
The whole world burns.
Supernatural isn't. I mean, there's plenty of bad episodes. It's not a great TV show all the time, but I don't know. It's always fun to watch.
I hope they do a lot of like recaps, like going back, like the Ghost Facers show up again.
Ghostfacers
They do
are
a
fa-
weird
yeah.
episode like that, and just like people from the past who are still alive come
Yeah.
back and stuff like that.
The semi spin-off one they were going to do with all the women, the
I
Wayward
watched
Daughters one
one
was really good. I thought it
episode.
was cool.
I got to watch one episode, and then I've never seen it on again.
They only did that one. It
Oh,
was just
okay.
that one.
All right.
But actually, that was really good too. But it helps that they've had like 6 seasons to introduce these characters
Yep.
in like 2 or 3 episodes every year. Because Jodie's really cool.
Yes.
So they've done a good job with that. That show's just fun to watch.
It's a good sorting bulk show.
Yes, like you don't want to like watch it and just pay super attention, but like if you're doing other things, that's a great background show to have on. And then every year, like the year-end recap that's set to Carry On My Wayward Son is
Yes.
always great.
Every time you hear that music, you're like, oh, it's the final episode.
Yep.
Ooh. So you guys watch your Supernatural. I'm trying to watch all the Marvel movies again before Endgame comes out.
We did the long rewatch like for over the course of 6 months, like every Friday night. But
Yeah.
you've been like cramming them in like 2 weeks.
Yeah, I have 30 days, less than 30 days to
At this
watch
point,
them all.
you're about 30 days out.
I'm halfway through phase 2 though, so I'm almost done.
Okay, so
essentially.
you'll catch up. That's not too bad.
I forgot how bad the second Thor movie is.
I don't mind
Dark
the second.
World? Yeah.
I don't mind Dark World at all.
I think I like Ragnarok better than Dark World.
Yeah.
Ragnarok's great.
Yeah.
But I think Dark World's better than the first Thor movie.
I don't think so.
No?
I like the first one better.
You just can't knock an origin movie though.
Right.
That's true.
Yeah.
It was good. Like honestly, the worst Marvel movie's still pretty decent. Even that
Yeah.
Thor one is still fine. Both those Thor movies are fine.
Worst Marvel movie ever is I don't know.
I mean, I
Black
have.
Panther.
Wow.
Old.
The one that's made the most like
Right, the
Emmys
most
and
yeah.
whatever.
I mean, I just rewatched the first Iron Man for the first time in like a decade.
How did that hold up after a long
It
rewatch?
holds up.
I thought it did
It
too.
holds up 100%.
I think maybe Iron Man 3 is probably the worst one.
I like Iron Man 3 a lot.
See, I don't like the second one. I think the second
The
one
second
is
one
the
is probably
most
my
boring.
least favorite of the Marvel movies. I would agree, Iron Man 2.
Yeah.
I'm a fan of Iron Man 3, but I get why people maybe didn't like it because it wasn't what they
Wanted.
thought from a superhero movie, what they thought they were going to get. So I get that.
Are
But
you guys gonna go see Dark Phoenix?
man, I
I
don't
think it's the
know.
one. It looks good, all aside from the fact that isn't the whole story about when she goes into Phoenix mode that Wolverine's the one who is like main character, like a central piece of it.
They've redone and done that Dark Phoenix storyline so many times. I don't even know what it's supposed to be, what they're supposed to be doing. And at this point, the X-Men movies have like reset the timeline so many times.
Right.
I have no idea what's going on. And it's funny because they did this thing where, so they went back to the 60s with First Class, and then we had not Age of Apocalypse,
The one with the Sentinels,
one
where
of
they
the
go
Sentinels is
back
in
and
the
they send
70s.
Wolverine back in time.
right. And then they jumped up to the 80s for Age of Apocalypse.
Yep.
And then this one is supposed to is set, I think, in like the mid 90s or so. The first X-Men movie, like literally the very first one, is like 2001. So it's only like 4 or 5 years after this one supposedly takes place. So somehow during that 4 or 5 year gap, everyone turns into the old version of themselves. That's the point when who's playing young
James McAvoy.
That's what McAvoy turns into Patrick Stewart over that 4 year gap right there.
At least they're both British.
Yeah, I guess.
Hey, Marvel owns them now, so they'll fix it.
Well, that's the one thing I've not seen any rumors, but like about it. But I kept wondering after that buy. I'm like, could we conceivably see like a Wolverine little brief cameo in Endgame or something?
I don't think so, because They did some
I don't think so either,
reshoots.
but
They did the last reshoots they did were before the buyout. So
Okay.
they wouldn't even had rights to the
And then
that is
character.
I know
fairly
Hugh
recent.
Jackman has a new movie coming out where he's an animated voice. I
Yeah.
do believe it's in the new Bigfoot movie, maybe.
Yep.
So that would have been something he was working on, unless he got in on that for a small cameo or something.
and plus Ryan Reynolds keeps bugging him to do a little bit in
Deadpool.
one of the Deadpool movie.
Detective Pikachu, May 10th.
I can't wait.
Man, so when I saw the trailer coming out for that, I was like, Detective Pikachu and Ryan Reynolds? There's no way. And it kind of looks good. I don't understand.
I'll see it.
I have to literally go see it first before I bring my son.
Why is that?
Just to be careful as to how bad it might be.
It is Ryan Reynolds.
Yes,
I
wanna
think they're
double
gonna
check it first.
I don't think they're gonna have Pikachu making Deadpool level jokes, but
I would love it so much more if they did.
So, speaking of Deadpool, have you seen the new Deadpool where it's made for more of like the teenagers?
no, like the edited version, like the
Yes.
Christmas with Fred Savage. I have not seen that
I
one.
want to watch it just to see, because my son always asks about Deadpool.
Sure.
And I'm like, you can't watch that.
Yes. No.
So I'm curious if it is family friendly where he could watch it then.
Sure. Yeah. Did you? But you have
I
not
haven't
watched
seen
it
it yet.
because I know the opening and the intro and the outro are like Princess Bride with Deadpool reading the story of Deadpool to Fred
Yep.
Savage, to adult Fred Savage in his bed in his pajamas.
In a kid's room.
In the kid's room, and like a recreation of the movie from the room from Princess Bride. So that joke alone is probably worth watching it. But no, I
So
have
for
not
all
seen
our
it.
listeners who are young, really young, and have not seen The Princess Bride, look it up.
Go
Buy
see
it. Buy it on your Amazon.
That's a pretty great movie.
It is an awesome movie. It's a cult classic. It is going to be old, and it might bother you if you're into the new generation of graphics and stuff, but it's really good.
Andre the Giant is in it.
And he's great in it. It's such a really good movie. I'm trying to think if I watch it with my son. I don't know if we have. If we haven't, we should.
There you go.
Yeah, I don't think I have. Well, we usually watch a movie on Friday night, so that might be maybe I'll do that tomorrow night. I was going to try to. That's the problem with Bill Murray. I wanted to watch Bill Murray movies, but I'm like, there's a lot that he's not like.
Yeah, he.
Caddyshack is not appropriate
Nope.
for him.
You could do the
And
Ghostbusters.
Stripes is not appropriate. Ghostbusters, I think, would be fine. Although there's a couple of jokes in there that I'm not even going to say on this show because they
Yeah.
wouldn't be appropriate.
Because in the 80s, that was okay.
That flew in the 80s. Yeah. Although because I saw it, I would have been his age. I would have been in fifth grade when I saw it, and I don't remember any like as an adult. I remember seeing Ghostbusters being like, I don't remember that really explicit
Right?
sexual joke in Ghostbusters. So I think you just don't get. I didn't get
You
him when I
don't-
was a
yeah.
kid. So I did. Speaking of that though, I did wind up having to put some parental software on his computer and his tablet at home just because I'm like, I need to do it eventually. I've been putting it off just out of laziness. And then he has enough friends over now that I'm like, not even so much him, but like I want to make sure his friends aren't going to sites that shouldn't have on his computer or something. So I installed, I don't remember what it was, Custody is the name of the software.
Okay.
So I saw that on his laptop and his PC, and then I get a daily report of what he's watching and everywhere. And even like every single YouTube video, it'll tell you what the title is and what's on it and every page he goes to. So I check them every morning just because why not? And it's all like his YouTube video feed is entirely marble runs, like this blah blah blah, crazy marble run, this crazy marble run, or silly cat fails with like cats falling out of windows. And I'm like, all right, cool. If he's 11 years old and that's what his YouTube history consists of is cat fails and marble runs, I'm still probably okay as a parent.
My son watches a lot of YouTube, and I check up on what he's watching, all that. It's all like building of Legos.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
oh yeah, let's build this, and then but it's like sped up, so you see it like building and all that stuff, and I'm like, how is that even interesting? I don't understand it.
like some of the marble runs he watches are like the kid who has like a second floor room where he's opened his bedroom window and made a ramp out the window out of paper towel tubes that runs. So these are like marble runs that take 8 minutes for the marble to get all the way through, and the kid's trying to film this crazy long marble run. And
he gets sick watching it because it's like bouncing
well, and
everywhere.
And he's like, I want to build that. And I'm like, we don't live in a dry part of California where it's 70 degrees year round and you can just build a cardboard marble run out your window and have it never get wet. Like, that's not how it
True.
works here.
Yeah. Yikes.
At that point, you just gotta like tell him, we'll start doing chores and stuff, and then we'll go look at PVC pipe. And
That's true. Yeah. Yeah, but then I get super involved and I do help him out with some of these things, but like, there's only so much time I want to invest in building marble runs. I assist him a little bit, but there's, because we've built. I helped him build one a few years back out of paper, and we built a bunch of tubes. First of all, I built a big tower. I just took paper, basically like regular, and rolled it up into tubes and then taped it. And so we built a tower. I taped those into like a square, and then built legs going up. We built a tower probably like 5 feet high out of that. And then I helped him build a bunch of like paper tubes and tracks and stuff. And he got really creative with some of the stuff he built. So he had like, you could drop a marble on the top, and then it would go into a paper funnel, and then it would split into like 3 different paths it could get to the bottom. And he'd just dump like 15 marbles into it and erase them all to the bottom. And then like the bottom, the last 3 to come out got eliminated, and he'd like redo them all again.
Jeez.
So he turned it into this whole competition between marbles where they'd have to like erase for their lives, basically.
I played with micro machines as a kid.
Yeah, I mean, I remember doing I didn't do like that, but I remember doing that kind of dumb stuff.
Yeah.
I'm not even going to say what I did as a kid because I don't think it's like good on air. But see, when I was a kid, we did stuff that nowadays probably get you in trouble in town.
I mean,
Yeah.
I definitely probably did because I grew up in the country in Upper Michigan. So like there was a lot more, disappear for 8 hours a day when you're
Come back just like covered
when you're
in
9,
anything and
9
everything.
years old. No one knows where you are.
Yep.
Which I get the people that like talk about, kids, they don't have that freedom. But like even myself who went and did that stuff, I don't think I wish my son did that. I think, what were my parents thinking? I probably shouldn't have been running around the woods by myself at 9 years old all day long.
Yeah, I
But
don't
I guess I survived.
You just find some wolves and they capture you and you
guess.
become Mowgli. And
Right. So before we get into the super secret tech here, how's the Planeswalker deck creation competition going?
Well,
you're going down.
yeah, probably. If I don't go down, I'll be 100% surprised with myself.
How's yours going, Chris?
It's going really well. I just need to get sleeves and sleeve it up.
Wow, you're that far along.
I have to buy the cards I'm missing, then sleeve it up, and I'm good to go.
So I would like to throw a vote out there. We could do a vote on Twitter or something.
We can. Yeah, you can do a poll.
About if people want to have us do a deck tech on our 3 decks
Cool.
for our Planeswalker thing.
I feel like the answer is just going to be
Yeah,
yes.
I think we should.
I've heard
For sure.
I've heard from quite a few people, like, do you guys do deck techs on your own decks? It's like, you got to go back to like the early days. That's where
Yeah.
we started.
And we've only done, with this group of people, we've only done your Alesha deck and Dana's Glissa deck.
I think that's it. Yeah.
Thought we did your Dramoka deck. Didn't
I don't
we?
think we
I don't
did.
think
I
we
think we
did.
did that with Luke.
Yeah, on the previous show. I don't think we did it with Matt. With this threesome. We should do that. Well, that's actually a good thing too, since we're planning on doing all these extra Thursday shows basically forever. We can start doing a few of those of our own deck techs on those Thursday shows too.
Yep.
So that's a good idea. But I think we should definitely do the Planeswalker decks. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Because we kind of did a similar thing on the EH cast where we all picked a deck of ours and then did a comparison to like the top cards on EDH Rec for our personal decks. So we did kind of 3 mini deck techs all in one show, and it was interesting and fun. And we could do the same thing with the Planeswalker decks, I think.
So I do have one question, and I'll spoil some of my secret tech for my Planeswalker deck. But how much enchantment and artifact removal are you two going to be running?
I wasn't planning on changing anything specifically for it. I can tell you what I currently have in my mono white deck. I think I have Oblation, I have Crush Contraband, I have Return to Dust, and
Okay,
I
you have the basics, which I kind of thought was in there.
Council's Judgment, and I think I have one more thing. I think I have one more, but I can't remember what it is.
So I'm totally contemplating on just shafting you guys because my win con. I suppose I could tell now because
I know what it
I
is.
said I was going to bring it up
Okay.
to people about how my win con was. I'm going to win with Approach of the Second Sun.
Okay, all right.
So I'm going to play the Immortal Sun and lock you guys out of your Planeswalkers.
Because your whole goal is to just get to approach.
Yep.
You're a terrible human being.
I am a horrible human being. Like all my walkers, all they're going to do is just like draw me cards and, like try to like stall you guys out and be like, approach. Yeah, what's up?
It's okay. I originally, in my first version, I did have a Isochron Scepter, Mystical Tutor, Nexus of Fate as my win con.
That was what you're going to do.
That would be awesome.
At the count, and I'm just fumbling on
Yep.
mono white at Johnny's.
And I have like all the artifact tutors, like Frantic Search, and I'm like, there, I can go get everything I need. And I'm like,
Because
that's too cute. I can't do
In the
that.
color combination I'm in, I could just play all the removal and just kill all the Planeswalkers,
Sure.
no exile them. But I don't want to go that route, so I want to do something just janky in order to win. So then it makes the field a little bit more
Sure.
even because you are playing mono white. So.
Right. I talked about that. That deck did pop off this week. We talked about it earlier in the show, but that's not usually what happens.
So I wanted to make it a little bit more of a fair game between the
Sure.
three of us and
I'm just
see how it goes.
I'm just gonna make 1,000 pithy needles and name every planeswalker that I'm not running.
Not a bad idea. Well, that's one thing that I've been thinking about a little bit with this War of the Spark Planeswalker thing. So I have a binder at home with Planeswalkers in it that's just a Planeswalker collection. And I usually try to pick up one of every Planeswalker and put in the
Have
deck.
fun.
Well, first of all, in the last couple of years, I've been like, I've not really been doing a very good job of it because I'm like, I don't want to pick up the entry, the bad Planeswalker version of all of them just to have in the deck. And once in a while, they'll be cheap online for some reason. I can get them for like $2 or something.
You can find them in the store too. A lot
Yeah.
of people trade them in thinking that they're worth something, they're not.
So I should check with Phil.
Yep.
But that's added so many Planeswalkers to the thing as well. And now I'm like 36 or more of the program I would have to pick up. I'm like, I don't even know if I want to continue to do this. And there's already a few that aren't in there. And I never got a Teferi because he was expensive out of the gate, and I just never got one.
He's still going to be expensive.
And he's going to be expensive even after he
Rotates.
I
out.
don't think
He's gonna
he'll be a
expensive.
Jace the Mind Sculptor expensive, but he's going to be expensive.
Yeah.
He'll be a $30, $40 planeswalker.
Yep.
So we'll see what I wind up doing with that. I don't know if I want to keep trying to put together one of every Planeswalker or not.
I mean, you're guaranteed one in every pack, at least in
I mean,
War.
most of them should be cheap. Like I would imagine, of those, 32 or 36 that are going to be
36.
36. 30 of those will be so bad that they're not going to be more than, $1.
So my guess, if they stick to how they do Planeswalkers, there's going to be 3 in the set that should be at the Mythic slot
Yeah,
that are good.
I'm guessing we'll get Bolus at Mythic for sure. And then it wouldn't surprise me to see the Gatewatch all at Mythic.
Ugin. It's going to be Ugin.
It'll be Ugin.
And maybe Ugin if he's part of the storyline. Then. Yeah. So I would guess we'll at least see those guys, and then everybody else will probably be at a rare or conceivably uncommon. Because that's still a ton of rare slots to have be Planeswalkers. Even if
It would be hard to do anything else with the set then if they were all at rare. And there's
Right.
one guaranteed in every pack, so they have to be something else.
right.
What if they do it like flip cards, where you just get one, and it doesn't take a
It
slot?
could just be in that slot like they did with the flip cards before this. Yeah, that
So
could
you
be.
could get lucky and hit a double mythic pack,
That's true. Where your where your
where your land is a planeswalker is going to be.
yeah.
We're talking about Wizards here, guys. They do care about the secondary market, no matter
do.
what they say.
You're right. You're right.
So that would tank the price on all those cards, and
Right.
I don't think they would be okay with that.
Maybe.
We'll find out soon enough because we should be getting some more previews this weekend, right?
Sunday, yes.
Did you see the one? Did you see the one today, Chris? A Johnny's
Pridemate.
Pridemate?
Pridemate.
Oh yeah, that's right. One of the teammates posted that in our chat.
Yep.
And I thought it was just another card where I didn't realize it was a spoiler, but they actually eroded that card
Yes.
to say that it is a force trigger that the +1/+1 counter goes on it.
Yes.
Oh, it's a force trigger
It's
now.
not a May anymore.
Why
so
was that? Was there some
it's
abuse
for
with that?
Arena?
Oh,
Because it's like,
sure.
click, and then all of a sudden it's like, do you want this trigger to go off? Yes or no? And you're like, oh, stop, and you're just like clicking your space
because you
bar
almost always
repeatedly.
want it.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. And there's actually some new text on it that just talks about all the planeswalkers summoning creatures from their past to remind them of what happens if they lose to Bolus or something. So it wouldn't surprise me if we see a cycle of like
Augur Bolus was spoiled. as well.
Augur Bolus too. So if we get a bunch of different like creatures that have a planeswalker tie that we've seen in the past, Liliana's Reaver or Jace's
Phantasm.
Yep.
well, whatever.
That kind of stuff.
And a lot of those are uncommons. They're pretty easy to reprint without it being a problem anyway. So
True.
we'll get some of those this weekend.
I am just happy that this set's coming soon and it'll be done and they're going to pull away from this and we're going to go into new stuff.
Well, this is that time of year where everything comes fast now. Like we have that lag in the fall where we basically from September until now we get 2 sets and that's it.
Yep.
But now we go straight from War of the Spark into Modern Horizons into the Summer Core set into Commander product, and there'll probably be, I think Signature Spellbook's going to be in there somewhere this summer as well.
Oh yeah, Wizards, I hate you too. Because Commander product used to come out on our birthday, Max and my birthday, so it was a nice little birthday gift. And now it comes out in the middle of summer, and I'm like, what are you doing to me?
August 22nd.
I think they could easily support 2 Commander products a year. Do one in August and do one in December or
That's
something.
a lot to like get your hands on, though.
Do one like
maybe.
an Arsenal product and one actually
Sure,
be the
yeah.
decks.
Right, don't make it a pre-con deck. Make an Arsenal again. Yeah, that would
Yeah.
be an easy thing to do.
That'd be the perfect Christmas, like that late November slot instead of like your unstable or something.
I want my holiday gift boxes back. Is what I want.
Those are so nice.
They were.
They
I'll
were
drop
nice.
$30 for one of those all day just for the freaking box.
The box
And the
is nice.
dividers.
Yes,
Yeah,
the
the dividers
dividers.
are cool too. Yeah. Yeah, I wonder if those they must not have sold well, or they'd still be making them. I would assume, but
Oh, I bought one like every year.
I did
so.
too.
yeah. I always like the fat pack too, which I guess they still make, but
Right.
I like the bundles.
Well, speaking of, we should probably announce this. Since we aren't
Sure.
announcing our winners of this month's contest this
Yeah.
week, we are going to announce next month's contest, though.
Yeah, we'll have to do that before we move on to the main topic here.
Yeah. So Flipside Gaming is generous enough to help us out, and we are getting 3 War of the Spark bundles from them. And we're giving away one on Patreon, one on Twitter, and one on Facebook in the month of April.
Nice.
So we'll get those shipped to me right after the set comes out, and we'll get them shipped out to you, the winners, right after that.
Nice. We also have a few things we might as well mention. I'm not sure if we talked about this in the deck tech or not, but we got an updated version of our logo that we will probably unveil on episode 100.
Yep.
And that will also be finished in tattoo form on both Max and myself, which we will post pictures of probably for that show roughly, as well as I think that'll be done by then.
I'm doing the math right now on my calendar because I'm like, that's
It's been pretty close.
2 weeks away. So this is 93.
Yeah, we should be fine.
Yeah, we'll get them right before episode 100 because episode 100, we're going to skip a Sunday recording. So episode 100 will be a Monday show. It won't be a Thursday show.
Yep.
So it's like the third week in April, I think, is when episode 100 will hit.
Yeah. And I think actually I'll probably do we'll do a small show. Something we won't count it as a show. It'll be like a 0.5. So it'll
Gotcha.
be 99.5 on that Thursday or something. And then when 100 come out on Monday, it'll be the one. So we'll have our new logo. We'll show the tattoos that we got to commemorate episode 100. And Chris can't get one because he has, is it herpes? No, that's not what it was.
Gonorrhea of the eye.
Gonorrhea of the eye, yeah. You have a blood disease, so you can't get tattooed.
No, I have kidney disease, which I
There,
take a lot
okay.
of medicine for that thins my blood
That's
and
what it was.
everything. So
So Chris can't get a tattoo, but Max and I are going to get tattoos to commemorate episode 100 with a new logo as well.
Yep.
I'm
And
gonna
we-
secretly film you guys, and I'm gonna post it on YouTube as Max is crying like a little baby, and
Max
This is my 4th. I'm
Max
over
is an
the crying like a
experienced-
baby.
He's an experienced tattoo
I was
getter.
gonna be Dana. Is gonna be like,
I've never got a tattoo. I have not gotten one.
I told my dad about that because I'm like, hey, because that's his birthday. It's the day we're getting. I'm like, I need to take like a 2-hour gap in our festivities so I can go get a tattoo. I'm like, you can come, but otherwise we'll just go to the party after. He's like, whatever.
My wife's actually really excited about me getting a tattoo just to see what my reaction is because
I'm excited for that too.
because she has like she's an entire back piece like from her
Is she really?
from her neck all the way down to her butt is entirely tattooed. She has one shoulder done and she's working on the other shoulder this summer is her plan to get that one done.
I heard that the back hurts like down the spine. My cousin has a full back piece of like an angel with wings and all
Okay.
that, and he said nothing has hurt worse except for when it went down the
vertebrae.
spine or when he pierced his nipples. The worst pain in his life.
I'll have to ask her. I know she's had a tattoo. The one she had covered up by this one was a smaller one. Doing it over top of a tattoo really hurt because it's scar tissue. So did that really hurt?
That'd be interesting. Or maybe it's just dead, dude, and like dead, so it doesn't really feel as much.
Maybe. I remember her saying that one did hurt.
Okay.
But mine's fairly small. I'm not too
Yeah,
worried
they're
about
gonna-
it
they're
being
gonna
gonna be
be-
that bad. It'll be a 20-minute tattoo probably.
Yeah, half hour.
Yeah.
If I got a tattoo, it would be of that supernatural logo on my chest, so I can't be possessed by demons.
I got a soldering iron. We can just-
Yeah. Actually, I had my tongue pierced once upon a time when I was young.
What?
I did, yeah. Yeah, when I was like, 19 or 20, I had my tongue pierced. It healed. I took it out for a job interview. I had it in for probably a year and took it out for a job interview, and then I couldn't get it back in. And like your tongue heals up so quickly. I had it out for like 6 hours and it didn't go back in after that.
It's like we don't even know him anymore. Who are you?
I don't know. Some of these stories he's told us, that we
True.
can't share. Speaking of that, so for all our listeners who find us in Madison and stuff like that,
Yeah.
if you ever want to hear some of these stories that we talk about we can't share, that's the time to ask about them.
Ask in person.
Yep. And I'm sure Dana might just share them
I
with
certainly
you.
can. Yeah.
I know exactly the one you're talking about.
I swear to God, that's not mine.
That definitely would not be radio friendly here for
Right?
this show.
That's our after hours.
Right, exactly. So I suppose we can move into talking about our super secret tech here for War of the Spark, and also applies to Modern Horizon.
I'm not happy with Modern Horizons.
So what's
it's
your
gonna be garbage.
concern about it?
I think it's going to be trash.
I definitely feel like looking at Cabal Therapist, which they really talked about being a strong card, and I don't think it's a strong card.
I think Thoughtseize and everything else is better.
I'm no expert at Modern,
Yeah,
so
I don't know.
I might be wrong, but looking at it, I'm like, man, do I really want to be casting that instead of just casting Thoughtseize? And do I need those on top of Thoughtseize? What are you removing from your deck to make room for Cabal Therapist?
Nothing.
I don't know.
Unless they print some super powerful cards in Modern Horizons that's going to try to counteract.
And maybe they think the plan is to have it work with Thoughtseize, so you do turn 1 Thoughtseize, see what they have in their hand.
Then name something else. But you could just do turn 1 Thoughtseize, turn 2 Inquisition, and sell 1 mana to leave a Fatal Push up or whatever else you're playing.
But I guess the thought is on Cabal Therapist, late game when you don't really need to hit their hand with it, it's a menace. It's like a menace, right?
Yes.
It's a menace attacker you can swing in for a damage or 2. But
1/1 with menace, right?
But at that point, I don't know that. I just don't think it's not enough.
No. Now the Sarah Angels just got me psyched, but that's about it.
It's a cool card again, but is it? I don't know if it's playable. Maybe it is.
I don't know. I really don't know.
But we also don't know. Like there could be some new black enchantment that comes down that when a person discards a card, it deals 2. I mean, like something that makes that Cabal Therapist better or something.
I want to see something big that could shake up the format, like a Sylvan Library or
something from the older formats that isn't legal yet.
Something that's playable in
Sure.
Legacy, because Legacy is pretty much dying, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And then, but can be moved into Modern, but won't hurt it too awfully much.
I was wondering about Sylvan Library if they would try it. They would attempt to
The
run
way
that.
that card's spiking, I wouldn't be surprised if we see another reprint soon.
I wonder what decks. Is there a Death Shadow that runs green at all?
Yep, it's called Traverse Death Shadow. You
Okay.
traverse the Ulvenwald and stuff like that.
Like being able to just ding yourself for 8 right away and draw 2 cards in the process feels pretty good in the Shadow deck.
Well, look, I just found 2 Death Shadows off Sylvan Library. That's worth the 8 life.
But it's also one of those things like right now Phoenix is so strong that maybe they're like, we need to buff a few other decks up too. Maybe that's what the thought process is. But I don't know if that came out in time. Like this has probably been done for 6 months, and I don't know if Phoenix was a deck then.
I find that amusing that Phoenix is like super powerful, and then now Tron's making another comeback, and it's like Phoenix should just eat Tron alive.
It should.
But yet Tron's still making a huge comeback again.
I wonder why that is.
I don't know. They should print me another card like Ancient Strings. On a creature this time. Oh, that'd be awesome.
ETB, Ancient Strings.
Make an Eldrazi too. Oh, yes!
I mean, we could conceivably get new Eldrazi in this set. There's going to be new cards for Modern, so there could be ones.
Just remember,
Who knows?
everyone, when you build your deck, put Eldrazi in it. Because everyone loves to play against Eldrazi.
They do. Are there any Commander stuff that you guys are hoping to see get reprinted or just show up in this in Horizons in particular?
Sarah looks cool for Commander.
I mean, this is a perfect set to finish a Talisman cycle.
Yep.
There's almost always, in a set that's designed for draft, they almost always put some kind of a mana rock at the uncommon slot, whether it's the signets that were in a couple different Modern Masters reprint sets or Clue Stones or whatever. Like, there's almost always some kind of a mana rock.
The thing that I would like to see.
Thought Vessel.
Yeah, I mean, Commander could use that.
Right? It's a
And it wouldn't hurt
$12
Modern.
card.
It doesn't hurt Modern. It's fine for draft.
What?
Yeah.
It's over $10.
It's over $10. Has been for a long time.
Yeah.
Because it's only been printed
Are we
once.
thinking about the right one? The 2 mana rock that gives you unlimited hand?
And tax for 1.
Yeah.
It's like over $10.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm going in my book when I get home because I know there's a bunch of them sitting in there.
Yeah, it was like a buck or $2 when it first came out, and I bought a couple. I didn't buy like a bunch of them, but yeah, it's over 10 now.
Yep.
No, I want to see them print the Battlelands that came out in Return to Zendikar, but the enemy side of it.
They could finish that cycle
Yeah.
too. They could
Because
finish.
they are fetchable, so they would be Modern playable.
Sure.
Not a lot of people are going to play them in Modern, but
Your Scape Shift deck.
that's where your fetches are all in Modern. So that would be a good time to print them.
Yeah, I could see them for sure doing that. I wonder if they would just reprint fetches.
They're not reprinting any cards
right,
that are
that's
currently
right. No,
legal in
there's
Modern.
nothing that's currently legal. That's right.
Yep. So it's either going to be all new cards or
Legacy and
functional
Vintage.
reprints of cards that are in Legacy or.
So yeah, so finishing the Battleland cycle would be easy. They could do, or finishing off like the Talisman cycle, even uncommon. That's really easy because it doesn't take up a big. The rare slot's valuable, but the uncommon slot, it's easy to just toss things like that in there. So that would be good where they could finish there. I've heard people asking about the swords at Mythic, if they could finish the sword, or at least add a couple more of the sword cycle Because
That'd be cool.
I think that would be something that they would save for the future in a standard set.
Man, isn't it too strong for standard though?
They don't do
If-
protection.
it depends on how
Yeah, protection too. Yeah.
how the standard format's set up. So like if we go back to Phyrexia or Mirrodin or anything like that, which I think we're gonna soon, because that's Karn's objective is to fix
Yeah.
all that. That would be the time to print something like that.
Yeah, but protection in standard is just not going to be fun.
They have protection. Well,
Hexproof from is like the new protection.
That's why I wonder if they wouldn't just do
Yeah.
it here.
Yeah. It's a hard mechanic for new players to understand.
and printing 36 planeswalkers is
I
easy
know,
for
right?
new players.
Right. I'm curious how that impacts standard if it doesn't make it just a train wreck to try
Draft
to
is
deal
going to
with.
be a nightmare.
I
I am
mean,
not looking forward to draft. I'm looking forward to sealed because that's Madison's one where that sealed's going to be going on. but
pre-release should be pretty fun, I would guess.
Yeah.
It'll be
draft
interesting.
is going to be a nightmare because it's going to be like, okay, I need to have the set memorized to know when I open my pack, guarantee Planeswalker in there.
Right.
What the other Planeswalkers are that are within the common, or if they're in the commons or uncommons, what they could be, what the archetypes are going to be, and
Well, if they have multiple abilities too, like it's one thing to have to remember that your Den Protector does this, or your Pelt, is it Pelt Collector? Whatever. Udenwald Hydra, whatever. Like any particular rare we're talking about here.
otherwise it just stays in green.
It's all green. It's all Shadows of Innistrad green for me. That's all I care about. I don't know why I got fixated on that, but like it's one thing to memorize what that one card does. It's another thing to remember 3 Planeswalker abilities for each individual Planeswalker times 36. And we're assuming they're not all going to be like 3 ability Planeswalkers, but enough of them are going to have 2 abilities. You can try to remember, okay, so it's a -2, a -1. Which one does what? That's a lot of interaction to try to have in your head when you're doing a draft.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting. Because then also if they're guaranteeing a Planeswalker in every pack, and if they do come in as an additional card, that throws off the math of packs. How like will this card table to me?
Sure.
Because there's going to be an extra card in each pack that's going to be going around.
Well, and for the Planeswalker decks you guys are making, I mean, yours is Esper, right?
Yep.
And what's yours?
Sultai.
So between your 3-color decks, you guys could easily find out you've got a dozen new Planeswalkers to fit in those decks,
Easily.
if not more.
Yeah.
So that will be curious. And even in mono white for myself, I bet I get 2 or 3 that are mono white. I bet there's at least 2 mono white walkers.
There'll be a Gideon and a Najani. Probably.
I'm curious
Johnny
how
could
many.
be Selesnya, but I mean,
I'm curious how many multicolored walkers there's going to be.
and if they like go as far as 3 colors, which would be which is not a thing in Ravnica,
No.
other than the 4-color
Nephilims.
Nephilims. But other than that, I think that's always been 2 colors or less. There's not anything 3 colors in Ravnica. So that would be a unique thing for Ravnica too. But I bet we get some 3-color ones for sure. Because there's like no Abzan Planeswalker, I don't think. There's no... I
There's
think
only,
a
what, three color planeswalkers? There's Surrak, Temur Surrak, Bant Tamio,
Timur
Sarkin.
Sarkin, yep.
Bant
sorry.
Tamio,
And is there one more?
Bolus. Obviously, there's Bolus.
And Bolus.
But there's also... is Narset 3 or is she 2?
She's 2.
She's only 2. Planeswalker Narset. Okay, so is that
Oh,
it?
and Aminatu.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the Planeswalker deck ones.
All of those.
Oh, well,
yeah.
and Windgrace then,
Yep.
too.
Oh, and Windgrace, yep.
So I'm like looking at you like, really?
But I mean,
Not running that deck.
I wonder if they'll actually check all the boxes. They'll do like 5, do every monocolor, then they'll go through and do every pair and every 3-color. I wonder if they'll actually try to do that. Ugin as the colorless, like they could. I don't think we'll get 4-color, but they could probably
I
do.
would like to see like Ugin be the 5-color. Like he's figured out how to harness all the mana.
Karn as the colorless. Sure.
Yep.
Karn's the colorless. Ugin's the 5-color.
They won't reprint Karn. They just printed him in
But a new Karn maybe. They could easily do a new Karn. You don't think so? I bet we get a new Karn and we get a new Teferi. I bet we get both.
We'll see.
Well, maybe even this weekend. It wouldn't surprise me if we get one big card this weekend. We'll get some small ones, but we probably get one big one.
I got my Bolus playmat from
I
PAX.
saw you posted a picture of that. Who sent you that?
So thank you, Anthony, from our Patreon supporters.
Nice.
He grabbed me one, and we'll work out the exchange of monies for it when he gets back from PAX.
That looked really, really good.
Yeah, and it's one of those, they're stitched on the outside, so it's just going to go right up on the wall.
Okay, I was gonna say those stitch ones. I love them.
They're just
But
so
they're
hard to...
so annoying to play on because your sleeves get caught on it all the time.
They keep your playmat from getting the weird ripples on the edges, but they also get stuff hung up on them. Well, talking about that just reminded me of when we had talked about blinging out your deck, and I've now forgot who it was in our Slack that posted a picture of his entirely customized altered deck he had.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I'll see if I can find it. It might be too far back by now.
So we'll briefly talk. Yeah, and he had pictures of it all. It looked fantastic, but he had the entire deck because he did it all himself, right? Is that what he said?
Majority of it was done by himself, if not all of it.
So I'm gonna hit him up. I wrote down something from an I forgot to go back and talk to him because I'm gonna get him to do an altar for me too because I think I'm working on that Vela deck slowly. It's gonna take me forever, but I'll get him to do an altar for me too. Ryan did in the last week's Thursday altar sales. He does Ryan at CCO Podcast, and since we already did a shout out for Lexicon CCO Podcast, we give them a lot of grief because
they're Canadian.
They deserve it, but they also put on a great show every week. They're worth listening to.
Yep.
And Ryan does fantastic altars. And he does every Thursday. He lists them on Facebook. They are worth looking at as well and seeing if there's ones you want to buy because he does great work.
Yeah.
And he did some full art island, was one. It was a revised island that has kind of that pinkish background going on. And he basically he painted over everything except for it's just the island and then the pink water centered everywhere around it. So there's no text box. There's nothing else around it. It was just a full, entirely frameless island. Looked gorgeous.
And now Chris wants a whole set of them for his modern deck.
Maybe.
It really, really looked good. I never really thought of like using the revised lands for it before, but they really lend themselves to being painted too.
I collect revised. I have a whole revised collection. I pick up any revised cards that I find. So I would definitely be something I might have to contact him and be like,
really look
hey,
sharp.
So I got all these cards.
Yeah, so he does nice work, and that was really good. I haven't checked his posting for this Thursday yet.
I glanced at him. He had a couple lands that he did, like the Space Odyssey stuff, and a few other cards. But I know he's taking a bunch to MF in Calgary this weekend to sell in person.
Right.
So,
yeah,
which he might get kicked out for.
He's been doing that for basically his job at this point.
For almost a year.
He does really nice work. And you know what? I'm going to do 2 more podcast shout outs here. Not that we listen to plenty of big ones, but like I don't know if Command Zone needs our references on here or Jumbo Commander, who does a great show too. But Brothers Warcast, we've mentioned before. I listen to them every week. They do a really nice show. So since we already mentioned 2 other friends, I'll mention them. And I am also a fan of Legendary Creature, does a really nice podcast.
Yeah. I listen to both of those as well. I don't listen to any others though.
Those are like the primary ones. I don't even always listen to ours. I usually listen to like the first half of it or something. But after some point, I'm like, okay, I've heard all this.
I've had to start listening to it.
Well, you used to edit it, so you didn't have to listen to it.
Yeah, I would never listen to it. I would download it to get the count and then delete it. Like I'd listen to like through the intro and then I'd be done because I just spent 2 hours the night before doing this. So
sure, right.
So now I listen to it. I do about the same thing. I listen to about half or sometimes the full show just to hear what we sound like.
That's what I did last week. I listened to about half of ours on the walk into work. I listened to the EDH Recast, about half of it on the walk back.
Oh yeah, I guess I do listen to those guys.
They're not as good as this show, but they're fine.
We don't have some dog making a bunch of noise in the background.
Or multiple dogs. I think Joey's dog and Matt's dog both make work.
So we need to have a conversation about Dr. Mike. And I'm going to call him out hard right now.
What do you do
Talking
now?
about dogs making noise just made you jump in and calling out Dr. Mike.
What kind of doctor are you talking about?
Someone played a manolith on Tuesday.
He did.
And he discarded a cancel.
He did, right in the same deck.
His exact words were, I don't have any of the other ones. I'm like, man, they're like 30 cents. Like, you want me to just go buy you one right now?
I'll go buy you a dark steel ingot.
Right?
He really gets deck building ADD. This is a guy, for those who don't know, Dr. Mike, we've mentioned him, but he's a guy that plays at our shop. He's been playing about a year now. Probably a little more than that.
A little more than a year.
Dana injected the drug of magic into him.
He completely gets into like new deck idea. I'm building a new deck, and he's at like 15 decks right now. He was talking about it at the shop the other night. He has like 15 different decks, and he's been playing just over a year. So that's how he rolls. I think that's why he's like.
He came in with his kids for Pokemon one day too.
Yeah, so he's doing Pokemon stuff too. So that's why he probably has cancels and manoliths, because he's like, when you're cranking out that many, a deck
I don't care about quality.
A deck every 3 weeks, he's like, I just need a counter spell. I'm just putting a cancel and I'll deal with it later on. And he never goes back to dealing with it.
quantity over quality.
He, I didn't mention in games we played, but he beat me in a game, a Veil of the Nightclad game. I was playing my Veil deck, and he had,
I heard about this.
I don't even remember what he was playing. Oh, it was his Raikou. Of
his Clue deck.
His Raikou deck. But he also has a bunch of things that copy things in that deck. And it came down, and he made a bunch of plays, and it came down to him and I killed somebody else, and so it was just the two of us, and wound up passing the turn to him. And my life total was relatively low, and he played a Progenitor Mimic copying Vela, and then he had a couple things in play, so he sacrificed them or killed them to do a little more damage to me. Then he turned his Mirage Mirror into Vela to get the double triggers because they each killed each other. That did 3 more to me, which took me to 1. And then he passed a turn, and I had a Phyrexian Arena out, and the Arena killed me.
That's spicy.
Just a style on me with the Arena kill.
That's
I'm
awesome.
like, yeah, I had nothing. I
got Arena killed 2 years ago when we were in Minneapolis I was playing the Commander game. What it came down to is like, okay, upkeep. I'm like, okay, with the trigger on the stack, I'm looking around. I'm like, okay, who do I want to win this game? Because I could kill 2 people before I drew. And I was just like, okay, well, I guess I'm looking around. And the one guy, he had like some weird jank 5-color dragon deck. And he was like, the 2 other guys, they were all friends, the 3 of them. And they were picking on him the whole time. Like, well, I'm just going to kill these 2 and you can win.
Nice.
Well, anything else we need to talk about here that's important before we move on to the super secret tech?
I don't have anything else.
Well, you know what? Actually, we're probably out of time looking at the clock here, so we'll probably have to deal with it next week. I think that's going to be it for this week's show. Until next week, I am Dana.
And I'm Max.
And I'm Chris.